Hi all, welcome to Python series part 2. So today we are going to learn about the types of variables. I believe last class we have already finished about variables and what are the rules to create them. So today we are going to learn about what types of variables are existing in Python. So let's get back to our replet and create a new REPL that's available. So let's call it Python series part 2. So in Python, we currently have three important data types. In fact, four, but let me concentrate on the top three. So the first one is integer. Like we all know, the name itself, it significates that they are numbers. So any number that you store in a variable is called as a data type called as integer. And then after integer, we have second model, which is called string. So, any type of words or letters or any alphabetical characters that you're trying to store in a variable would be considered as strings. And finally, we also have float. So, any decimal values basically like 2.5, 10.8, or any negative decimal values altogether comes under float data type. So, we can also check it with Python. Let's try to take a variable, let's call it A. Let's try to store a number called 5. So we can ask Python what is the type of our variable A, the variable called A. What is the data type of it? Let's ask Python. It's called integer. So that's what we have just discussed. All the numbers comes under integer data type category. So and then we have something called as string. So let's take a variable called B and always remember any words or anything that's not number or a float value, it has to be stored in quotations. Only then the Python would be understanding that it's a string. So let's try to store Python in this variable. Let's ask the data type of B. So as guessed, we have to get string as the output. Let's run the code and check. Yep, there we go. It's a string, right? And finally, the third data type we discussed, any decimal values. Let's say print, and then we have type of C. So when you run the code, you can see the answer is float. So using the type keyword, or basically it's called as function. That's why beside type, I'm using the brackets. So whenever you see a brackets beside, any word or keyword from Python, you can consider it as a built-in function. So this type keyword is helping me to figure out which data type or which type of value I'm storing in variable. So these are the important data types. Along with this, we have one more called as Boolean. Boolean means you're going to store either only two values, either true or false. So I can take another variable and always remember, if you want to store true or false, you have to use first letter as capital. It's like a keyword. And now when you're trying to find the type of D and when you run the code, they're going to tell that it's bool, which stands for Boolean. But if I don't do this and imagine I store T small letter and I run the code, you can see that this is not correct and they're actually asking us to check if it is T capital. So always make sure you to write like this, or you can even use something called false and run the code. Yep. So those are the four data types that we have learned today. So we'll be continuing the series in the next chapter of the Python series part 3. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to TechZone and we'll be watching more updates on Python. Have a nice day. Bye guys.